tournament, both men and women. And then we're gonna finish up with a little NFL, man. Derek Stingley, highest paid corner, man. What that looked like for Travis Hunter. All up on the Co-Pilots podcast. Let's go. Yo, 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 it's your boy Joe, and you tuned into the Co-Pilots podcast, episode 81. And tonight, man, we got a good show tonight planned for you. Now, I know a lot of people probably wondering where Greg is at, man. Like, me and Greg, we trying to get our schedules back together. Also, I don't know if you guys know, Greg is a truck driver, so it's kind of hard trying to get logistics, getting this thing going. He just took a new position, so we still trying to figure some things out. Greg's still a part of the team, and we just at this point we just trying to get the logistics and things. And but the Co-Pilots podcast, we still locked in together as a team. And once we figure out this logistic thing, we gonna get it back going where gonna be me and Greg, and we doing the thing how we been doing it. But as of right now, I got to hold the fort down, and so we got to push on. So tonight, man, I got a good show planned for you boys and their gals, and we gonna get right into it, man. So tonight, I'm gonna open my banner up now. Y'all already know it's just me in here. Get this, and then I want to pull up this picture here and get it going. I hope everybody had a good evening day at work today. I know I did. And we're gonna talk about these two right here, man. PG and KD, man. These two fellas right here up on my screen here. Y'all see right here, wherever. Yeah, man, my homeboy called me the other day, and he was asking me about, you know, Paul George and what I thought my thoughts was. And I just thought I wanted to share with you what some of the conversation that we was talking about, man. And it just made me think about you know, KD and his situation. And so, you know what I'm saying? Both of these players are considered probably top 10, if not top 15 players in the league. When you look at Paul George and Kevin Durant, man. Both of these guys are like generational guys. We look at Paul George, he's regarded as one of the best two-way players in the game, And then when you look at a guy like KD, probably one of the most lethal shooters with this height and just the athleticism for his size. I mean, we all see the talent and just in his game. But when you look at both of these guys, man, one thing that both of these guys lack is leadership, man. And I think that's what's hurting them in their respective teams. When you look at a guy like Paul George, who, you know, he went to the Clippers, it didn't work. He was in OKC, it didn't work. And everybody wanted to see the Paul George, the Indiana Paul George, that thought that was gonna be that dude. But we just never lived up to that hype, man. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this guy's not really just a natural leader, and these guys, um, in order to be great and in order to achieve certain things, sometimes it just takes you have to step in and be uncomfortable role. I don't think when you look at guys like Katie and PG, they don't like to ruffle people feathers. And when it comes to being a good leader, sometimes you got to ruffle people feathers on your team. And people don't like that. Some people don't like being a villain, but part of being a good leader, you got to be a villain sometimes. And I think these guys, they don't have that in them. When you watch them play, you can see guys on the team taking plays off, or they're not giving full effort. And those guys being the best guys on the team, you would think that they would, be trying to push it. Lately, we've been seeing KD get into it with the coach on the sideline with Mike Budenholzer, which I think he's gonna be out of here. And then a guy like PG, who had to shut down his damn podcast because he told me he want to focus on his body. I'm like, man, he just these guys just don't have it, man. And leadership, and I'm gonna say this, man. I don't think these guys win another. Well, I don't think KD win another ring, and I don't think PG gets a ring or even get close to a ring until they fix that about themselves, unless they go to a team in a lesser role or stacked team. But I mean, these guys have been like the worst of the super teams when you look at both of them, and they ain't even got their teams in the play-in yet. What I do think the Suns they got a better shot because Dallas right now they just injury riddled. So I think they'll get into the play in, but there's no guarantee because when you watch the Suns play, they don't play with no effort. They play. I mean, I don't know what they doing with Bo. I mean, Bo is one of my favorite players that's not playing in the league right now. And he's on the bench. They're not playing him. I don't know what's the deal with that. But it's just this team just so out of sync. And if you look at the big threes, this big three brand of form, this by far been the worst, man. First round exit. Just this team is just so underperformed, and I gotta put it in KD. I gotta put this on KD, man, because the team it just don't look good with you on it, bro. Like when I look at the team when they had DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul. And even though they wasn't as talented as this team is right here, this team is by far way talented, more talented than that team. The team had leadership, they had a direction, uh, and they played with effort. It was like they had somebody holding them accountable. And when you don't have nobody like that holding you accountable in the locker room and in there, this the results you get. And I think that the Suns, they did a disservice, man, trying to upgrade talent, and it kind of bit them in the bullet. So I think at this point, you got to break the team up. You got to break them up, and you got to start from scratch. I don't know what you do with Devin Booker. Do you want to start all the way over? Do you keep one piece of the franchise? That's a lot of questions they're gonna have to figure out in the offseason. But I think it's about time, man. James Jones as a GM, I think you got to hold some responsibility in this too. So I think he got to be out of there too. You got to start over from scratch if you're the Phoenix Suns. Uh, and I'm not, it's just unfortunate, man. I don't think this team's gonna get in the play in. And how bad this team has been over the course of the season. And let's finish up with Paul George, and I'm gonna say about him. I mean, this guy, he just he's always injured. And that's been a knock on him in a lot in his career. He's so injury prone, but when he's on the court, he's that dude. But I think it was a bad signing when you sign two guys that can't stay on the court. When you got a guy like Embiid, it's like you just went in the same situation you were just in LA with Kawhi, guy that couldn't stay on the court, and then you had to carry it. It's just like a lot of rash of injuries. Don't get me wrong, the Philadelphia injuries have injuries, but when you just look at in the grand scheme of things, it's just been a disaster, man. Philly fans probably don't want to hear this, but the process that you guys went through to get Embiid and all these other picks, the best that got y'all was to the damn Eastern Conference semifinals, and Kawhi killed that. And y'all ain't been back no further since. And I think you really got to seriously look at breaking this Philadelphia team up in the summer, man. I think a guy like Tyrese Maxey, you build around. He seemed like he's the more consistent piece out of all of them. Now I know you just paid Embiid, uh, but I don't know, maybe you get a team that's desperate. They say maybe they can deal Embiid that can get that contract off. I think you try to get rid of him too, and start over with Maxey, in my opinion. But this team need to be broken up, man. And a guy like Nick Nurse, who I think is a pretty respectable coach, is going to lose his job based on these players. And I think in the NBA, a lot of good coaches lose their job a lot more faster than the NFL because of the play on the court. Like, because you can't really control the play. In a sense, in my opinion, when in the NBA, it's a superstar-driven league. So, but this guy Nick Nurse is going to lose his job eventually because these guys didn't perform. And they're another team that should be if you look at this Philadelphia team, they should be at least top four in the Eastern Conference right now. With the talent they got on their roster, there should be no way this team is struggling that bad, bro. I mean, they're I mean, it's bad. And I think there'll be another team that's gonna be looking to split up. So, to answer your question though, man, these guys I feel like it's just been a big disappointment on the season for both of these teams and both of these players who are guys that have accomplished a lot in the league. And I just think it's just time you got to break both of these teams up, in my opinion. So we're gonna move right along to the next topic, and let me get something in the comment section before we get started. Because if you guys want to join in, you can join the conversation. I'm gonna put the group chat, put it in the chat right here, and if you want to join, get on. Drop it in the chat. Okay, there we go. So it's in the chat. And we're going to go to the next topic. And we're going to talk about my beloved Orlando Magics, man. And the Orlando Magics, right now, I think that we got a chance, man. We got a chance to get this thing right. They just had a big win against the Cleveland Cavaliers over the weekend, and this probably been their best game they played over the course of the last month. They've been hella inconsistent. And defensively, this team is real solid, man. We get stops, so we can stop the opposing team, but the thing about this Orlando Magic team, man, they go on serious scoring droughts. And I mean, it's like they can be up by double digits. And then by the end of the quarter, they're down by two. Are they down, the leads cut to one, or what I'm saying? And it's just like this team struggle to consistently to score. And right now, KCP signing has not been a great signing. This guy again having career lows. But he had a solid game Sunday, man. But in order for the Orlando Magic to get into the playoffs and unfortunately see if they can possibly get to the sixth seed where we don't get in the play-in, they're gonna have to start winning some games now. And it starts tonight. They got the Wizards, I believe. No, they have the not the Wizards. Oh, I'm gonna pull up the schedule here. So this is the schedule. So tonight they got Houston, which I don't think they win this game. If I gotta be honest, but my thing is they got at least win. They can win at least 9 of the 13 games on the remaining part of this schedule. When you just look at some of these teams they got to play, I think that they can really beat some of these teams. When you look at like the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks, they got to play them a couple times. You got to play the Wizards a couple times. That's like 5 wins right there between those two teams. And then when you just look at some of the questionable games, like they could possibly beat LA, they can and the San Antonio win. I think that's a win too as well with all the injuries. The Charlotte, that's another win. Now you got games like LA who playing for playoff position. They probably gonna we may lose. We most likely gonna lose that game. The Pacers is another team that's probably fighting for position. We may lose that game in Boston as well. So I mean, I'm not expecting us to go reel off a bunch of them, but when you just look at the Washington, the Charlotte, and Dallas, those next couple set of games, those are very winnable games for the Orlando Magic. So I'm hoping that this team can at least get on a little run so they can get into the playoffs, because I think this Magic team, man, uh, can maybe make some noise in the playoffs if they get in the way they get after it defensively. But we got it has to start now. And I mean, Jamal Mosley gotta I don't gotta tap into something, because this could be ultimately a firing move. Like the franchise might, the organization may want to move a different direction. And the reason why I'm saying that about Jamal Mosley is because, this is his fourth, going into his fourth season. The first 2 years you was building this team up. You get them to the playoffs last year, go into a game 7 against the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference right now. And it seems like, if you play these guys, you got a chance because you play these guys so tough. But now you're taking a step back because this team has just been so inconsistent after the break of the second half of the season. And we know injuries happen, but the thing about it was these guys they played well when the injuries happened early on in the season. So I don't know what Jamal Moses got to do, but he got to figure something out because, like I say, he could be coaching for his job, but this team don't get into the playoffs. I think the organization think that we're a playoff team, and we are a playoff team. On the defensive side, they're elite, but when you just look at them play on the offensive side, Pablo. Teams are loading up on him. They're asking Franz Wagner, they're loading up on him, and everybody else they're asking to beat. And the other guys are there's not is consistently not getting it. Jalen Suggs, let's say, out for the year. That's probably one of our solid defenders, and then he could give us 20 on a given night when he in his bag. But you don't have that no more, and I just think this team is really missing that right now. So we'll see how the rest of the season ends for Orlando Magic. I'm rooting for them, but I don't know, man. So we'll see what happens. But let's say it went to some college. And again, man, this podcast is sponsored by Doobie GG, leading online energy drink, man. First order you get 10% off when you order Doobie.gg. You use the keyword co-pilots, man. So let me change this over to the next topic. Go to March Madness. And March Madness is here. It's been a lot of good games. It hasn't been no games on. They've been having playing games tonight. They got 2 playing games tonight. The tournament don't officially start till tomorrow. So I think it's 2. I forget 2 games that come on tonight, and I think it might be one on right now. And no, I'm going to watch the one that come on at 9:00. So that's why I'm live streaming now because I want to watch that other playing game because that's going to be a pretty good one. But I want to talk segue before we start, talking about the juicy stuff about March Madness is West Virginia is suing the NCAA because they didn't get into the final, into the tournament. And I just think this is unfortunate because they felt like North Carolina shouldn't have got in, which I think North Carolina won. They blowed out the team they played last night. But they thought that they should have got in over North Carolina and this conspiracy. But everybody know the NCAA is corrupt, man. There's a corrupt business, and you got to know that. And all you gonna do is spend time, money, wasting money for your university for nothing that's not gonna change. So I mean, why would you just do that? I mean, we seen what Florida State did last year. They went and man. All right, my bad. So went and sued and everything else, and then boy, keep going. So I mean, I really don't know what to really Oh, it's still recording. I want to make sure it's still recording. I'm having technical difficulty. So, oh my God. All right. All right. Yeah. So, my son was trying to get a hold of me. So, my bad. So, yeah. So, back to what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. So, March Madness, yeah. So, we're talking about West Virginia. So, I just think it's just a waste of time, man. We seen what happened with Florida State. They did all that hoopla and rah, and then you go out and lay an egg the next season. And then it just watered down that lawsuit. And this could be the same situation with West Virginia. They might have had a great season, and just rightfully so, they probably should have got in. But I just think the way they're going about doing it is the wrong. We know they corrupt. Your fan base just got to get over it, just like we had to get over it, and it is what it is. And then when you really look at the grand scheme of things, man, the ACC only had 4 teams and got into the conference this year. 4 teams. I had never seen that many little bit of teams from the ACC, which I feel like the ACC is more the premier basketball conference in college basketball. We only got 4 teams. The SEC had 12 teams. So it's like you want to make a fuss of your team not getting in, you might be showing the wrong confidence. You might want to get at the SEC. They got 12 teams in. Not saying that all the 12 teams in the SEC that deserve to get in, but you probably make a legit more case going against them saying it's that versus, saying, they should have got in over North Carolina and all this other crap. So, but that's just my little quick rad tidbit. But let's talk March Madness and let's talk the men's. And I'm gonna pull up this wrong one. I'm gonna pull up this bracket here and we're gonna discuss this bracket. And let's talk about the men's first. And um this is my bracket right here for the men's. Um, these are the teams that I like. I got UF, which is University of Florida, St. John's, University of Kentucky, Duke, and Arizona. Now, in that top bracket, the North, I believe, I don't trust none of those teams in there. And some people might debate me and say, hey, this team might be good in that bracket. Me personally, I don't trust none of those teams. I haven't watched enough college basketball in the little time I had to watch to really know about any of those teams on the side. But the little time that I've watched college basketball this season, I've been checking these teams out, and these are teams that I trust right now. I still think Duke, Florida will be the final, but if it's any team that could get there outside of those two teams, I like those other three teams that I put in this bracket. I like Arizona, but Arizona and Duke may face each other in the Sweet 16. So that's going to be interesting to see if that happens. Still rolling with Duke. Then I got Kentucky. I think Kentucky could be a team to go and make it all the way to the finals. If those two teams don't make it. Now, on the other side, I only trust UF and St. John's. Now, the only thing about that is these guys might play each other in the Elite Eight. So, I'm still rolling with UF. I think ultimately for me, I'm going with UF and Duke. Again, like I did a video. You guys can check that video out on YouTube Shorts. Check out my reason why I picked those teams. But yeah, man, this is my bracket, man. Hopefully it don't get bracket bust early. But I'm rolling with those the teams that I think that's going to make the most noise in the tournament. So I'm going to move into the female side of things, and let's discuss. And before I do that, though, let me put their picture up. Put their picture up. So I want to also discuss these young ladies. That's sorry about that. It had to refresh. So I really want to see which one of these ladies step up in the tournament. What JuJu gonna do, what Paige Buckner gonna do, what Flau'jae gonna do, and what Van Lith, what she gonna do. Now, when you look at the bracket, man, all these guys gonna. My question is to the guys and gals that's listening out there. Which one of you girls you think? Which one of you women are gonna make it the farthest out of Paige Buckner, JuJu, Haley Van Lith, and Katie Van Lith, well, I think whatever her name is, and Flau'jae Johnson. And for me, I think Flau'jae is gonna make it the furthest. I think she has the least path to get to the game to the big dance. Versus, if you look at somebody like JuJu, she gonna have to play Paige Buckner at least in the Elite Eight, or even I want to say I got Elite Eight, yeah, in the Elite Eight. And then when you look at somebody like Van Lith, she's gonna eventually have to face a South Carolina team in the Final Four, or she might knock out before then. But I think the person that has to can make it the furthest out of these young ladies is Flau'jae. I think I like her bracket, and I think she can do the most. All these ladies are big time names in college basketball. Let's see what they can do. I was a little disappointed with JuJu. She got pounced in the semis, I believe. In her tournament game, and they pretty shut her down the second half of that game. So let's see if she can have a bounce back in the tournament. Everybody else took care of business in a respectful. Van Lith, she led TCU to one of their best records in school history. And always South Carolina, they always got a chance. Coached by Don Staley. So, but I'm going with Flau'jae. I think she's gonna make it the furthest out of all these young ladies in the tournament. So turn that down. So moving along to the next topic, man. Let's talk about um, the NFL, man. And Derek Stingley, he signed a deal for a big bag to be the most highest paid corner in the league. And it got me to thinking about, Travis Hunter and what time it's going to be when he signed. Not saying I'm trying to count his pockets or nothing like that, but I think that when he do decide to, if he plays corner both ways, he can. It's a future in being a good solid corner. I think now in the way that the NFL is played, you need a solid corner now, like a big physical corner out there that can take away these receivers now, because a lot of the rules for the receivers, the NFL is favored the offense more than defense. So if you can get a big guy, fast, physical, just as a corner, as a wide receiver that can cover, man, I think that's a premium. That's a premium now. There's not a lot out there right now. You only have like the elite guys, which Jalen Ramsey is pretty on the decline in his career. He used to be one of the top corners. I still think he's a top 10 corner. I'm gonna say that. I ain't gonna disrespect him too, but as far as like top 5 corner, he's not that anymore. But if you look at the elite corners, the Stingleys, the Patrick Surtains, the Sauce Gardners, those guys, you don't have a lot of them out there. So I think if Travis Hunter can go out there, do his thing at corner, man, he can break shadow records and be the whatever Stingley get right now. And just think what 4 years from now or 3 years from now when he up for his deal, man, it could do a lot. And the potential this guy has. So yeah, man, it's looking for interesting to see that. So yeah. And my last thing, let's talk about too, is let's talk about your boy then, man. What's gonna happen? Where do these guys end up? Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Where these guys go, man? Like what's gonna happen with these guys? Right now, there's reports that Rodgers was supposed to sign with the Steelers. Then I seen a tweet out there. It was a Cam Hayward or one of those guys was like, "Hey man, either you a Steeler or you not. Like we trying to, like, we not finna beg you or whatever." Or however the tweet was, but it just got me to thinking. It seemed they want to see where each other sign at before they make a deal. Um, I don't know, man. Maybe they don't want no old quarterbacks. Like I say again, this draft class is not really strong with quarterbacks. The 2 top quarterbacks is Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, and the talent drop off immensely. So I don't know if they go with one of these quarterbacks. Steelers are going to make a play for a quarterback in the draft. If the Jets is going to make quarterback, I don't think they signed anybody. No, they did. They signed Justin Fields. But the Jets. The Giants. The Giants. You got the Cleveland Browns out there, and you got the Saints as well. That's another team that could be eyeing for a quarterback. I don't know, that they've been floating around. So I don't know what happens with Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, but one of them need to hurry up and sign. Or maybe they did a poll too, and I'm gonna pull it up here. And a lot of people think that Aaron Rodgers should just retire, man. And I think if he retires, then I think Russ Wilson sign whoever he's gonna sign with. But it hasn't revealed who he's gonna sign with. Maybe he signs with the Giants. Maybe he got a deal. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. But the Steelers as well. I've just thought about it. They ain't play as well too. So it's teams that need quarterbacks. And I did say Steelers. I'm tripping. But there's some quarterbacks out there, man. The teams that need quarterbacks, I'm trying to say. And again, man, it's gonna be crazy how this free agency ends, because there's still a lot of big names out there. You still got Stephon Diggs. I think he's still out there. And a couple other big names as well that are still unsigned. So I know as it get closer to the draft, moves will be going to be still continue to get made. And some of these guys are going to end up on a roster before training camp. But then I can see some of these guys as well wait until after the training camp, some injuries happen, and then they get signed too. So, if there's guys out there now that still haven't got signed, don't be surprised if they don't get signed late in training camp. So, and it always happens every year. Guys get picked up then. But again, man, it's still a lot of time in free agency. I'm still wondering what my Jazz gonna do. I still gotta do that video for you guys, man, on the Jazz. I still haven't done it yet. Got it written, got the script and everything, but I just ain't just did it yet. But the Jaguars, I like the moves they made, man. I will say that when it comes to free agency, they did a bunch of good things. I know a lot of people probably wasn't excited about the signings, but in the grand scheme of things, these were foundational pieces that the Jacksonville Jaguars needed to do. When you look at the signing like Jordan Lewis, a guy that we can put in the corner, slot. I'm sorry, or him or Jaron Jones, whatever. You got a nice little set of corners in your room when you got Campbell, you got Jaron Jones, you got Jordan Lewis, you got some corners you can play with some different packages on the field, and you can disguise some things for for the offense. So I like that. When you look at a guy like McCurdy, I can pronounce his name, the guard that we got. This guy has played in guard, center, and tackle, every position across the offensive line, and that's very good for versatility. Issue things. So I just look at overall what the Jaguars did. They were good. And that says a lot about what but they, so I think that's a good thing. So I don't want to keep blabbering right now, man, because look, that's what I'm doing right now, man. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast, man. Be on the lookout for more content, man. Again, like I say, man, Greg, we really figuring this thing out as we go. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show tonight, man. I want to love you guys. If you came in, checked in for 1 second, 2 seconds, I don't care, man. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Continue to support the brand, man. Like I said, we just only gonna get better. They only gonna go up from here, man. At the end of the day, man, I want to thank God for everything He done, and thank everybody for tuning in. It's your boy Joe, one half of the Co-Pilots podcast, man. Love you guys. Peace.